Tonight on Starbase 47, we will have some urgent news coming in from the Andorian front line. There will be reports of a brand new starship launched straight from Earth itself. We'll be talking about the man, the myth, the legend that is James T. Kirk. We'll be exploring one of Starfleet's newest warships on the front lines, as well as going through your letters and your calls. Welcome everybody to Starbase 37. This is our first broadcast straight here from Starbase 47 from the Azalea system. For those that don't know me, I am Commander Sharky. I am the newly promoted executive officer of Starbase 47. Thank you to Admiral Terrell for appointing me the position. And in one of my thesis I put towards him, I said, hey, you know what people need? People need news and stuff, because this is a big station. This is a huge station. Like, it used to be a piddly little listening outpost around, but now it's a huge station, and we've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got all sorts of things. But yes, no, yes, Lieutenant Commander. No, you are Lieutenant Commander. Lieutenant Commander Nifty. This very much is Starbase 47. Since you have just been posted here, please be aware that will be going on your record, as I am doing admin tomorrow, and that's what we're doing. But yes, no, welcome to the Starbase. Welcome to the first feed. For those not listening on the station, let me tell you a little bit where we are. This is the Azalea system. We are located not too far from the Cardassian border. As I said, this used to be a listening outpost up and around about the Dominion War, but now it is a fully fledged frontier station, delivering all sorts of resources, exploratory missions out to the furthest reaches of the Alpha Quadrant, and you know, trading. A lot of trading going on here. We have a huge civilian population. We have starships that are being refitted and retrofitted here. This is very much frontier of the Federation, and people here, you are very much very far away. You watching, you think missing home, want to know what's going on, subspace communications go down. Well, hey, we're here. And I kind of stole this idea. I stole this idea from the reports of Voyager when they came back. Remember Voyager? HR feels like a very human-centric term. You are very true. That is something we need to put forward. It is a very human-centric Titan. Thank you very much. By the way, love your name. Yes, human-centric term, not the best. We should come up with something else. Alpha Quadrant resources. No, they're beta-dependent, isn't it? No. We'll come up with something. We'll workshop some names and I'll put it forward through to HR. I mean, to be fair, the Federation has been a bit of a humans-only club for a while. I mean, we love diversity. We love all the races that come, and it's great interacting with all those different people. But yes, humanoid resources. Now that's good. Still a little bit biased, especially if you're a Horta or if you are an exocomp or something. Species resources. I think everyone could be qualified as a species. Is there any kind of genus that wouldn't be? Maybe not. Carbon-based units, again, Horta, just personnel. Or it is the first officer's job to get all this stuff sorted, which is what it is. Thank you everyone for the Homo Sapiens Only Club. Yeah, intergalactic resources. That's a good one, Mr. Trekkie for life. Okay. We've got some news to go through tonight. We also have some personnel updates. So we have some new postings coming aboard Starbase 47. So congratulations to Lieutenant Junior Grade Giernick, who is now our EPS maintenance engineer. Lieutenant Commander Mittens, who you're speaking to in chat there. Docking and departures liaison. Actually been very good at this post. We've been getting regular reports from our from people that have been coming aboard the station and all sorts. And new operations night ship supervisor, Lieutenant Commander Cold, keeping it going while we're all sleeping. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. So there have been a few events that have happened. Believe me, these new postings, they have been very busy aboard the station. So we had backup EPS manifold number 6 got taken offline, 2200 a few weeks back. Then storage base 12 to 16 suffered an intermittent loss of climate controls, which was a little bit problematic because we had an Antidean shipment of their food there. And let me tell you this, Antidean food doesn't smell good at the best of times. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen an Antidean eat? They're huge tubs with all the little fish, possibly. Never really asked. Probably should do. I've been around a bit, but Antideans are not someone I've had a lot of interaction with. But let me tell you, when Antidean food goes off, no, we had to get a whole containment crew in there
but a handsome race.
As spoken by the great Mr. Worf there, a legend among Starfleet personnel. We've got footage from everywhere. Absolutely fantastic. Yes, so yeah, we had to get a whole containments down there. Yeah, I scheduled a couple of ensigns for that delivery. Yeah, unlucky them, but God bless the Antideans. They do have their use in Starfleet, and they're an excellent trading partner if you need anyone to get you any kind of self-sealing screwdriver. Oh, do you like my cup, by the way? Got this off an ensign back when I was briefly spotted on the Cerritos. I don't know what's happening with my interface there. There we go. When I was briefly posted on the Cerritos many years ago, I got this off an ensign, a young Orion ensign back there. Don't know why she gave it to me, but who knows. Didn't get very far. A faint buzz about EPS conduit. Spent 4 hours stripping down and rebuilding, only to find a Vulcan wasp trapped under a maintenance. How do we get a Vulcan wasp there? That's ridiculous. We haven't had Vulcans on... Well, we haven't had a Vulcan transport on this station for ages. We've got Vulcans. Our Admiral is a Vulcan. So obviously we do. Maybe we should ask the Admiral about it. He does have some very strange rituals. Red alert! Not actually a red alert. I have already pre-programmed this. I'm not... Because usually we hear that, we all kind of go, quick, let's get out of it and run across. But no, go to our stations. But no, I already know. Thank you very much for a subscriber to this. Thank you. If you feel like subscribing, please know that all your donations will go to generous charities all across the galaxy. What else has happened? We've had a problem with the docking clamps lately, as Lieutenant Commander Mittens very much got involved with. He was up to his neck in Duplas, currently embarrassed about getting their ship stuck. And yes, we had a wee bit of a Dupla problem. It wasn't great. We had to initiate a Dupla lockdown for the 24 hours. And do you know what? 24 hours around Duplas is hell. I'm generally quite a chill person. I tend not to get too angry. Good traits for a first officer, quite, not bad. I can generally not overreact to the mark. However, when you're surrounded by people who are so irritated by everything you do, it tests your nerve. But luckily, we all kept our cool. Everyone was chill. We were polite. It was great. We got those Duplas contained back into their original form and shipped off the bloody station, because that was a pain. Yes, we have to be aware about Duplas. Be chill with Duplas, all that kind of stuff. This is an alert from Lieutenant J.G. Koenig. All station operations staff, in the event of a docking clamp malfunction, like happened earlier, please call engineering and do not attempt to rectify the situation unless properly trained. Hitting it with a phaser rifle or switching it off and on again at the EPS junction are not in the Starfleet manual. I cannot stress this enough for all station all personnel on the station. If you are not trained in that department, do not interfere with it. Everyone has their lanes. Kind of stick in them. I appreciate people that want to say, if you're in engineering, want to train a bit of command. If you're command, you need to know something, but check with our staff, please. Just find anyone and just say, should I do this? And they will probably say, no, you're going to cause a station malfunction like we've had before, and it's becoming a bit of a pain. So please, no more hitting things or switching things off unless you know what they are. That being said, the EPS grid was shut down for an infestation of tribbles, so we did definitely get some people on board who knew what they were doing, as a group of visiting Klingons did clear the problem with extreme prejudice. So we were very pleased for that. Good service done. Klingons, fantastic people. If you ever had a chance to serve with a Klingon, brace yourself. But good people, very good people. And what have we got? People like the emotional support tribbles still need to undergo standard inspections. Yes, again, we don't need tribbles on the station. They're bad as Duplas. Duplas and tribbles on the same station is a recipe for disaster. Let's not do that. And finally, Holodeck 1 is going to be out of use for a while, following an extended deep clean following the recent Delton Orion Festival of Exploration. I really don't need to explain that any further, really, do I? I'm not going to. Use your imagination. You have one. But there we are. So, station updates are done. Let me tell you a little bit more, because this is the first time, if you're not on the station, obviously you don't know much about Starbase 47 unless you've been doing your research. But let me tell you a little bit where we are. We are on the western border of Federation space, and the main supply runs between Cardassium, a little bit on the Tholian Empire, and running into Federation space. Used to be a relay station, but in 2375 was upgraded to a full Starbase with all the wonderful things we have here due to after effects of the Dominion War, which was Well, I don't need to say it was hard work, wasn't it? Now it's used for we use as a crossing point for people who want to come from sort of like the west of the Alpha Quadrant through to Federation space, and kind of just using as a little relay point. We are orbiting a wonderful, let me show you, we are orbiting a wonderful, where's my controls? Oops, no, not that one, that's Games Kick. We're orbiting a wonderfully beautiful planet, pink. People have affectionately called it Azalea. It's actually designated HIP 17684. That's dull, so people just called it Azalea because it's pink, like the azalea flower found on Earth. We have 10 planets here in total. This is a temperate planet. It is almost habitable. Carbon dioxide, oxygen, some water, nitrogen. It's the sodium dioxide that gives it a nice little unique pink hue. It's a very unique planet. There are some unicellular life forms down there, but it's we can go down there. It's a breathable atmosphere, but you wouldn't want to stay there too long. It's just about 0.75 G. I've been down to the planet. It's fun. It's 0.75 G, so you can have a good. If you're used to one Earth gravities, you can have a good bounce about. There are some species in the Federation that are very much used to that, and there are some that maybe would struggle more with it. It's a large planet. There are 10 planets in this system. We'll go through those another time, but there's this one. There is another habitable planet as well, which is also nearby. I think the next planet over is HIP 3, and we're getting a black alert. No, we are not getting a black. What's a black alert? Never heard of a black alert. Very bizarre. Get a red alert. Yellow and red. That's all there is, right? Maybe a blue? Is there a blue alert? I should know that. But yes, we are. Interesting fun fact, Starbase 47 is only a few light years from Halka. For people that don't know what Halka was, that was the first crossing over to the mirror. Well, the first documented crossing. I don't know if there were some rumors of a Vulcan contingent several hundred years before, but the first crossing over to the mirror universe via the USS Enterprise and James T. Kirk. We'll be talking about James T. Kirk a little bit later upon this. So let's go and have a look. What are we doing? So yes, story about. Let's have a little bit of news from the Federation. So 1 second while I wet my beak. By the way, any questions or comments in chat, please shout them out. We are going to be talking about our first subject tonight. Not James T. Kirk. We will not be doing that. No. We'll be talking about the Andorian Liberation Movement. It's basically causing a bit of a shake-up on Andoria. Reading from the report, in a stunning turn of events, the serene, snow-covered landscapes of Andorian Prime have been disturbed by the emergence of the Andorian Liberation Movement, signaling a profound shift in the climate of the planet. The once unwavering support from the United Federation planet appears to have waned from Andoria over the past few years, triggering tensions that are now veering towards an almost Cold War-style friction between the government and the dissident faction. Now, it's not been there you are. It's not been too long since there was a bit of tension on Andoria recently. Anyway, there was a breeding crisis a few years back, but now with the Federation expanding as it is, there is a question that is playing on everyone's minds: that if there's not enough support for Andoria, is there enough support for me? Hang on, I need to tweak something. Where is it? No, can't. I see you there. So yes, if there's not enough support for Andoria, is there support for us? Well, let's continue on the report. Long hailed as the bastion of cultural diversity within the Federation, the Andorians have played a crucial role in maintaining interstellar harmony for centuries. However, a series of galactic events in recent years, Dominion War, Borg invasions, have significantly impacted levels of support from the Federation, pushing the Andorian populace into a state of discontent. The aftermath of Dominion War, the resource drains brought back several recent galactic-scale incidents. A very recent incursion by the Borg have forced the Federation to redirect its attention away from Andoria. We literally had a Borg cube sitting in Jupiter. Like, it's ridiculous. It's twice now I've been sitting at Earth, kind of just going like, oh, what's going on? I was a very, very, very young lad when I was when the Borg cube was hanging above Earth the first time, and I was just like, cool cube, and my mum was just like, no, we need to find transport out of here because we're in trouble. So it seems like there's a bit of discourse within the Andorian Parliament. I believe it is who is the current Andorian president. I did have this written down somewhere, should know off by heart, but hey, I am apologies to any Andorian representatives watching. Maybe you can chime in with anything there. Prime Minister Azren Tatlan is currently the head of the ruling council of Andoria and hasn't quite come out with a full statement, though he has remained adamant that maintaining the planet's long-standing alliance with the Federation is of utmost importance, but cannot be denied that there is something to be said about knowing where you sit within the galaxy. And Andoria definitely stands on a bit of a precipice now, because they are, for those maybe unaware of your very basic Federation history, they are a founding member of the Federation. They have been a vital part of our growing throughout the galaxy, and it's you know, they are a huge part of what we have. So this liberation movement of you know, they're not calling for secession from the Federation. That's something they've stopped short of that. Their invocation, so from the article, and the increasingly confrontational rhetoric, gosh, that was difficult to say out loud, definitely shouldn't do any diplomatic runs recently, has raised concerns among government officials, it's increasingly tense. There have been a few outbreaks of violence, which, I mean, to be fair, with, and apologies to any Andorians watching, you tend to have a bit more violent outbursts as part of your culture than maybe other people do. And I can tell no one's listening to me and watching the advert has said thank you for one of our good people for generating the advertising links for us. All good fun. So yes, Andoria is definitely going through a thing. We'd like to hear from any Andorians in the chat, or if you want to write in on our Discord using a bit of ancient technology called Discord. We are still there. It's fun. Pick up these things. You can interface through that in your LCAS terminal. Probably, I think you can allow them on your quarters locally. Definitely. But if you want to check that, you absolutely can. I want to hear from Andorians. I want to know your side of the story. Do you side with the ALM, the Andorian Liberation Movement, or are you more with the Council? And hopefully, the resolution of this will shape up two things. It will shape up Andoria's commitment to the Federation, which is something we all need. They're a vitally important people. I mean, every person in the Federation is vitally important, but that's what you have to say, really. But Andoria more so because they are one of the founding members. But also, I forget my point was. Oh yes, that's right. Also because you know, other Federation members might think, well, if they're not getting the support, am I going to get the support? Or, well, I've been like the Vulcans or the Tellarites might think, well, all these new planets are getting all the resources. Where is us? JG King says, I do not stand with the Judean people's front. That's from an old classic film, isn't it? Oh dear. Okay, let's move on to our next wonderful piece of news. Now, this is a bit more uplifting. This is very uplifting. Very recently, I'm very proud to announce, well, not announce, it's been known before, but the USS Enterprise G? Is that a G? That's a G. That's a G. Nothing but a G thing. Embarking on a bold mission under command of Captain 7 of 9. Those might know her previously as Annika Hansen, or Commander Hansen if you served on the Titan A. The Titan A has been rechristened to the USS Enterprise G and launched under a new mission. Now, people might ask about Captain 7's credentials. Personally, I can't think of anyone finer. She has served for about 4 years, coming back from the Voyager mission that came back a few 20 odd years ago. Definitely has a time with the Fenris Rangers, bit of a rebel, but has served valiantly over the last, well, from what I've read from the logs, valiantly over the last few years. So I will read the wonderful report that was generated. Starfleet Headquarters, Earth, Stardate 74539.2. In a momentous event that has sparked widespread anticipation and intrigue, the United Federation of Planets celebrate the relaunch of the illustrious USS Enterprise G, a Constitution 3 class starship under the esteemed command of Captain 7. The starship's relaunch comes after a harrowing incident with the Borg, said about that before, leading to its reclassification of the USS Titan A and a brand new mission that holds promise for exploration and discovery. Now, the Enterprise G, the latest iteration of the iconic Starship series. There aren't many ships out there that have an A or a B or a C. It is the Enterprise, and we've got to ask about the legacy of the Enterprise as well. Like, this ship has, any ship that has been named that suddenly finds itself flung into all sorts of very, very, very strange adventures. It's weird. It's very strange. Like, I've served on a lot of ships, and a lot of it has been duty bound, a few little diplomatic incidents, occasional bit of stellar fauna or flora, you know, making its way through the galaxy, and but a lot of it's been quite regulation. And there's a reason I'm commander and a first officer, is because I've managed to get the experience I needed to get here, but it wasn't extraordinary. Not too extraordinary from what you read from the logs of, say, Captain Picard's Enterprise D or the original Enterprise under Captain Pike. You know, so there's going to be some interesting things. Whether the fact though that they have, this is one of the first Enterprises, not the first, but one of the first Enterprises that has been reclassified from a previous starship. The Enterprise A, I believe, which was also James T. Kirk, was reclassified from the Yorktown. So it's not unprecedented, but I feel it does diminish some of the legacy of the Titan, because originally Captain Riker's ship, and Captain Riker, gosh, worship the ground he lives on, honestly. Prime example of good first officership as well. Maybe hang on a little too long, but yeah, he took his time. But he had a good legacy on the Titan, boldly going and so forth. So, you know, it's a shame to wipe that. Hopefully they'll bring out like they're bringing out a new range of replicators. They'll relaunch a new Titan B. Maybe that'll be the flagship, because I'm not sure if there hasn't been any sort of dialogue to say that this Enterprise is going to be the flagship. So who knows? However, carrying on with the article, the relaunch of the Enterprise G is not solely focused on defense and security. In line with Federation principles of peaceful exploration and cooperation, the Starship has assigned a new renewed mission that centers on establishing diplomatic relations, fostering cultural exchange, and promoting scientific research. That's kind of the MO they give to all standard exploration ships. Anything that's heading out to the front line, they can just say, oh yeah, from Seeker, new life, new worlds. Yeah. You know where the real action is? The real action's here on the station. You know why? Because everyone comes through here. We don't have to go out anywhere. They come to us. It's a smart idea. You'll think about station postings, especially stay at Starbase 47. We've got lots of posts available here. We've got, look at all this space behind me. Look at all this space. Look at those windows. All of them are on. Not all of them are occupied. So we've got plenty of room. If you want to come and join us, please send us a recruiting pitch. There's always something going on Starbase 47. I digress. We're supposed to be talking about the Enterprise. I'm sorry. Okay, and why is Andor in crisis? Andor shouldn't be in crisis anymore. Let's get rid of that. It shouldn't be in crisis. It is. That was insensitive. It is still in crisis. It shouldn't be. Let's hope it isn't anymore. Speaking at the event, Admiral Catherine Janeway, former captain of the USS Voyager and current Starfleet commanding officer, expressed her enthusiasm for the future of the Enterprise G. The Enterprise has always represented the pinnacle of Starfleet's achievements, and the Enterprise G is no exception. Under the leadership of Captain 7 of 9, this remarkable vessel will carry the torch of exploration to new frontiers, just as her legendary predecessors did. Again, another by-the-numbers kind of speech. That's what they say. Every starship that gets launched is always going to be an inspiration to everyone forward. Never do it when a starbase is built, do they? Like, oh, this new starbase. They just build it and kind of go like, right, get on with your jobs. Come on. Oh dear, oh dear, 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 dear. Anyway, that's from the Federation News Network. Thank you to the author who authored those two articles. It doesn't say. Hey, I've been getting inaccurate information. Anyway, we've got a few events going on the station this week. As I said, we have the Delton Orion Festival of Exploration. Recommend just gingerly approaching that with a wide open mind. Just be careful. Very careful, because you never know what you might get roped in for. We've got a Klingon delegation doing a cultural exchange on our in our food hall area. They are bringing a lot of song, they are bringing enactments, they are bringing as well as a lot of cultural food, and let me tell you, Klingon food is not bad. If you've ever had the cojones to go and try it, go try it. Like, road cake blood pie is surprisingly sweet, and you will find, like, blood wine, maybe that's an acquired taste. That's a bit thick, a bit rich, and very strong. I'm definitely not someone that can handle their blood wine, for sure. However, hang on, let me go back to this one. However, road cake blood pie, very sweet, very nice. Little off-putting. Gach is, I'm definitely not keen on food that moves, but I tried it. It's okay. If you want to, expand your mind, maybe find something you wouldn't find on a starship, but you find here on a starbase. Road cake blood pie. Yay. You can't. You just can't beat it. You can't beat it. Well, yes, and we've also got the Bolians have sent a representation to talk about their diplomatic outreaches with the Tellarites. The Bolians and the Tellarites have been doing a bit of a cultural exchange, and the Bolian representatives are here. So if anyone wants to find those, they are on deck 15 in the conference lounges. They'll probably give you some flyers, and it'll all be informative. Might be a bit dull because it's diplomatic, and if you want something a bit more exciting, we have a holodeck. Holodecks are great. Holodecks are fun. Just read all the PSAs about holodecks and holodeck addiction and all that kind of stuff. We've had a few instances where we've literally had to like turf people out and say, look, get some help, and you've been banned. What else do we have on the station? You might not be aware of. Oh yes, we have a branch of Quarks. One of those as well here, which is it's fun if you like watching Ferengi try and sell you stuff. It's a little tourist trappy for my taste, but come and spend whatever latinum you have if you have managed to acquire some on your travels or managed to do a little bit of festive dealing around here and there. So yeah, please go down to that. Now let's head on over to a historical look back. I thought we'd start this series. First episode, let's start a series looking at the man, the myth, the legend, James T. Kirk. Hang on. Kirk. Oh, maybe I could put the full name in there. Hang on a second. Beep, 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 beep. Can I get the full name in there? Yeah, James T. Kirk. James T. Kirk. James Tiberius Kirk. Legendary captain, not the first captain. We had Robert April and then Captain Pike of the USS Enterprise. Oh, this man's legend is as long as anyone's arm and longer. It reaches out past the furthest reaches of the Federation and into intergalactic territory. But, you know, we grew up, we were listening, you know, I listened to Starfleet, and you listen to the logs of all that's happened and the adventures and things, and the precedent that was set through the Wild West days of the 23rd century, and you think, like, was any of this real? Seriously? Things this man did, things this crew did is almost unbelievable. It's ridiculous. So, let's have a look. I've just got a few examples here. The man fought a Gorn hand to hand. Really? No, I'm right. Okay, I don't want to be one of those news networks that goes, "I'm here with the real truth. Ha ha ha! This is what you should believe." But seriously, hand to hand with a Gorn, with nothing. Have you ever met a Gorn? I have once. I was posted on the USS Carthage, and we had an encounter on a planet with a Gorn. Luckily, it was at a distance, but I saw them, and I saw the size of them, and I would, no. Like, done my combat training, I would run away. I've also done my running training. One man, hand-to-hand with a Gorn, and didn't get his flesh ripped apart? That one is very unbelievable. Like, the logs are there. I mean, I'm not going to say you can't falsify logs or make things sound a little bit more embellished, because if there's someone that was going to embellish their logs, it would be that man there. Time traveling encounters. Okay, so he's found himself and the crew. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have ignored the crew. The crew of the Enterprise are equally on trial, I want to say, but no, they're not on trial. Are equally under analysis here. But he encountered Abraham Lincoln on a planet with Surak and Colonel Green. Like, he went battling Nazis on a Nazi planet. He's found multiple planets that look like Earth. Has anyone been back to them? There's a lot of little nebulous facts we have here, but I need to know more about this creature that summoned historical figures to battle, like the Yarnek. And 20th century gangsters on I forget, it was Iapetus, Lupita, something like that. It's mind-boggling, and he goes down and infiltrates them on his own without backup or anything, and for any rhyme, instead of doing the sensible thing, the procedural thing, the regulation thing you do now, and just calling for a science ship. Although they were a science ship, but I mean, that's the kind of thing you need a team of people to go and then do first contact procedures and assess things, not just run down and beat the shit out of a Gorn. Come on. My great uncle, Walt said, my great uncle met him once, Commander. He said Kirk was so handsome, I realized why my great uncle never married. Yeah, well, it's a free universe, so you can, that kind of thing will do. What was ever his paramour's lookalikes by any chance? Any Shatnerish in them? LT Commander Mittens says Cerritos crew have returned to Beta 3 and it seems to have regressed. Oh, Beta 3. Was that the Landru planet? Beta 3, I think. My history is not the best. Yeah, it was Landru. Yeah, again, that's another situation. How can you just talk a computer into killing itself? I do not understand. Like, that just doesn't seem possible. Unless the computer was just really thick. That seems like these stories are so outrageous. They are ridiculous. You read a log from a normal starship, like went to Beta Persei I-8, met a bunch of creatures, initiated first contact, we ran for our lives, first contact failed, or we discovered a strange slime, we analysed the slime, turns out it's just slime, and we walked away. That's the regular log of most people in Starfleet. That's why people join Starfleet, is to boldly explore where it's safe, or hopefully not get into any big intergalactic wars, or at least that's kind of why I did. And it turns out I got into the Dominion War. I got battling the Borg twice. It used to be a simple life back in the 2370s. It used to be so easy. Things got complicated, so I had to make things less complicated by getting promoted. He went to the Mirror Universe. Actually, historical site. There's a little plaque down there. Literally, that's what there is. You go into Halka, there is a small plaque saying James T. Kirk entered the Mirror Universe. Well, the crew of the Enterprise entered the Mirror Universe. It's kind of ridiculous for such a momentous occasion, but there is a very small plaque, and that's where it happens. You occasionally get the team of scientists going down there to try and create another incursion, but apparently the same thing doesn't work twice. You need the right ion storm at the right moment. Doesn't quite work. But there we are. He was forced to fight as a gladiator by the providers. I'm not even going to go on to that one. There's a lot of fighting in the logs. Always fighting. Various rogue artificial intelligence. Landru. There we go. Landru's in my notes. Norman. What a name for an android. Norman. Hello, I am Agro Persei I-3. I keep using Persei. I am Agro Retro 4. I am here to get you. No. Hello, I am Norman. Sorry. I know we've had some very sophisticated artificial intelligence on this, excuse me. However, just one calling itself Norman tickles me pink, I'll tell you. That's what I'll tell you. Let me just top up my drink using my regulation issue water. People say, why don't you just get it straight out of the replicator? Because I can't be bothered to stand up. That's why. I'm lazy. Sue me. Meanwhile, the Admiral's probably tearing his hair out and going, who have I just employed? You employed me, sir. I am now your first officer. He could report me. He could transfer me somewhere else, but he needs me. I'm the only one mad enough to work out the rosters for 1,300 officers. There we go. Saurian Brandy, surely. Yeah, I'm on. This is technically duty. So I did say as part of my roster duties, I would do this presentation to talk about Starfleet presence and news and things to everyone out there. So I don't think I can have a little brandy. Maybe one day I might sneak one in. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a Starbase 47 After Dark stream where we'll talk about all the stuff you're not supposed to talk about. Hey, there we are. What else? Anyway, James T. Kirk confronted the Klingons numerous times. Numerous Klingon engagements. Which actually is a little bit more believable, especially after Praxis, and the whole Gorkon assassination incident, and going previous with Core. That's probably the one aspect of his logs that makes the most sense. Starbase 47 lower decks, yeah. I'll have to see if we can get Nifty and Walt in for that one, Mr. Keogh. Yeah, so his dealings with the Klingons definitely seems to have made the most sense of any of his logs, but guys, tell me what you think about come on, don't be cheeky, Lieutenant Koenig. There's a hover chair in storage that used to belong to Admiral Jameson. Do you want it? Come on. See what I'm dealing with. See what I'm dealing with. Okay. Yeah, so guys, let us know what you think about James T. Kirk. Was he as extraordinary as the logs believe? I'm not going to say you're going to falsify logs. Absolutely not. We've got more integrity than that. But it does seem a bit like maybe there was a few extra sentences added, like dealing with the hand-to-hand fist fight with the Gorn was probably just a negotiation, or maybe like a shot fired with a phaser, and then I believe the Metrons were involved. Like, don't even get me started on these extragalactic beings like the Kelvins, the Andromedans, the Metrons, the fucking Q. Oh, believe. You believe the man as well as the myth of the legend. Well, you know, some people have to. Some people do have to. But yeah, he is out there. He is out there. Known longest voyager. Well, he only actually had one 5-year voyage. He reassumed command of the Enterprise after the Vija incident. I believe they had another 5-year voyage. So it's 10 years. 10 years is probably about standard for any Starfleet captain. After that, I think he settled down and then came back into the commission. Oh, no, he served for a bit longer after that. I'll have to check the records. I'd have to check the records. I think it's time to go and have a look and see what's in the dry dock this week. Right, let me set some things up here. Let me just go okay to that, because I need to move some things around and get ready to beam into the shuttle. I'm getting notifications. No, don't want to know about the latest beers down in Cork. Thank you very much. I will go and have a look at that. Didn't he travel to Alpha Centauri, the edge of the galaxy? Yeah, apparently he met God, or a being known as God. Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri isn't that far away. Alpha Centauri is literally like the next planet to Earth. He went out of the galaxy and those old scientists. With those old scientists? Typo, maybe? Okay. Let's go and get into... Oh, a god, not the god. I suppose we've known a few gods, if you count the Q as gods, maybe. Don't want to play their ego. Let's go over to the shuttle. Let's beam over... No. Wait, not that. What's the nearest galaxy to us? The Andromeda Galaxy is the nearest galaxy. If you don't count the Magellan Clouds. Andromeda, yes. Did they go to Andromeda? When did I go to Andromeda? Maybe. When it warp 14 or something. I mean, come on. We have a warp scale for a reason. Whoever admin is, the omen that was writing that log may have embellished it a little bit, but it's out there. Anyway, let's go over to the shuttle. Beaming over. Hey, that was quick. Okay, we are here. Oh, God, who parked this? Right, let's have a little move about. So, well, for those that don't know, let me just twizzle the ship around a little bit. So this is Azalea. Oh, hello, I've got a marker on. Oh God, Malakar. Who's been playing with Malakars? Is it that one? No, is it that one? There it is. All right, turn my markers off. There we go. Right, let's have a little look away. So this planet is absolutely stonking huge. It is. Look at that. Oh, we got an aurora tonight. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. A little thunderstorm down there as well. I think that's circular. That's kind of like Eye of Jupiter-ish. That tends to stay there quite a while. Landing spots tend to be somewhere around this area here as well, trying to keep away from the wind to the turbulence as well. And mostly Landers and Queen. But let's just check my speed. Oh, hang on. Right. Let's head. And this is Starbase 47 for those that don't know. Warp into the planet. What do I look like? Come on. I'm not going to just warp into a planet for your amusement. Plus that would violate all sorts of regulations, and I can't warp this close to the starbase. I'd have to get far further away. Oh, by the way, we're not in the runabout. I keep calling them runabouts. This is just a Type 6 shuttle. Very basic. Oh, very common warp into the planet. So welcome to Starbase 47. And we're going to go and have a look and see what's in the space dock today. Let me just... Yeah, I don't know why sound in the runabout isn't coming through. That's really odd. And as you can tell, this planet is stonking huge. Beautiful rings as well. I kind of love the pink aesthetic. So, what do we have in the dry dock today? I need to get some music for this or something. Let's see what's up here. We only got the one dry dock. I was told we were going to get more, but we didn't. Oh, gosh. Let's get up there. There we go. Let's have a look. What have we got? We have... is the Zhenghe... Oh, you can't see it, sorry. The Zhenghe class. How do you pronounce that? Zhenghe? I'm terrible with pronunciations. But let me select the vessel down. Oh, gosh, I'm too fast. I'm going to crash into the hull. There we go. This is the USS Confucius. NCC 87951. And to be fair, let me guys know what you think about this class of... I mean, it's pretty much a warship. Oh god, don't crash into the pylons. I got told off for doing that once when I first took this shuttle out. It was definitely an experience. The dry dock is outside your purview. Yes. No, there are some very specialist dry dock engineers out this way. Retro and refitting is something we're expanding into. As I said, we've only got the one dry dock. The pylons aren't. So let's have a little run around the back. Sorry about the view. Let me get up here a little bit. So yes, the Zhenghe class starships were commissioned about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Obviously, they were crucial on the defense of Capalius 3. Nice curves, very nice curves. I think the overall design is quite nice. Oh, hang on. Oh god, I can't. Sorry, my runabout. Oh god, don't hit the log. Christ, don't hit that. Gonna start hitting scraping noises in a minute. Oh gosh, the top end is quite nice. Let me zoom out a little bit. Increase thruster capacity, and let's turn it around. Oh. If you can see me, wave. It's actually quite traffic light out here at the moment. There we go. The deflector. The deflector is a contentious point for a lot of Starship aficionados, which I do consider myself one. It is not a traditional deflector. Now, there has been a refit. I believe the Zhenghe got a refit to a more traditional style deflector. This was more a military style one. I believe the grills were more defensive, so they were less a target for enemy ships. But let me park this here. Let's get a nice flattering angle. Oh god, don't hit that pylon. That's close. Okay, let's flattering angle. Can I go back a bit? Can I go back? Oh gosh. Oh no, let's go down a bit. There we go. Okay, that's a flattering angle. While I bring up the information over here on the Confucius. So the USS Confucius, NCC 87951. They're stopping off for a bit of rest and relaxation before beginning a patrol along the Cardassian border. This is an Inquiry class starship, for those that don't know. We've got about 30 of them in the fleet, I think. Excuse me, 30 of them in the fleet. Is Captain James Rodriguez, human, as the captain, with Commander Takara, a Vulcan, as the first officer. USS Confucius, they've had quite a few interesting operations. Like I say, not everyone has interesting adventures like the USS Enterprise, but USS Confucius was definitely sent to a relief mission on Rigel 4. They responded to a distress signal on Rigel 4, which was facing severe food shortage due to a crop failure. Crew coordinated with local authorities to distribute emergency supplies and provide assistance in implementing sustainable agricultural practices. A standard, Starfleet response. Maybe not equipped for a warship, because this essentially is a warship, but I believe after the Capalius incident, they may have been refitted a little bit to be a bit more domestic. They also conducted a rescue operation at the Denobulant, sorry, apologies to any Denobulans out there, mining colony. A catastrophic mining accident that trapped several Denobulan miners on an asteroid in the Denobulan sector. That's not what it's called, is it? No, surely not. Too much Denobulan in that phrase. Sorry, I should have written that better. The Confucius executed a complex rescue operation utilizing cutting-edge transporter technology and deft piloting skills to save the stranded miners. Now, I think this is rated for atmospheric combat or atmospheric flight, so it's definitely very maneuverable, very nice looking, and Captain James Rodriguez has definitely had a very long history in Starfleet. Distinguished officer known for excellent diplomatic skills and courageous leadership. While I tend to get, when we get a new ship in the dry dock, they'll tend to send us the press brief. Being a starship captain is a little bit celebrity-ish, so they send the same thing out to other people, to other races and other cultures that they do to myself. So it just means one person writes one thing, bigs them all up, and there we go. But he's diffused potentially devastating conflicts between the Talarians and the Gorn. Like, imagine that conversation. The Talarians, very hostile. The Gorn, very hostile. He's got to be accomplished to diffuse that situation. It's like, yeah, so he's born into a long lineage of Starfleet officers and been commanding the Confucius for, actually doesn't say how long he's been commanding it for, but would love to have you as a guest, Mr. Rodriguez, if you are listening. However, your ship is good looking. James or Hamis? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to assume James. It said James. There was no advisory. Let's see how close we can get to the bridge and without them sweating. The inspection teams are currently not working because inspection teams tend to not work if they can avoid it. I know what inspection teams are like, and I know you're listening. Your performance review is tomorrow. So there we go. So we've got like a double layer. Oh gosh, that was too close. Don't hit the hull. Don't hit the hull. Oh, slow us down. Oh, no. Right, there we go. Got a bit of fine-tune control now. We've definitely got an aft conference room back here. It's not the biggest of ships. There's definitely But then, does it need to be? Does it need to be a large ship? Don't hit the part. Don't hit the hull. There we go. Let's get a bit of distance. Getting some alarms going off down here, and no, I think Control is wondering what is this shuttle doing. I might have to send a report out. There we go. It's all okay. Everything's fine. I'm not going to fly into the nacelle. Don't worry. I do kind of like the big chunky impulse thrusters. Now, this is one of the reason is why it's so maneuverable. Is these big impulse engines. They are fast. This is a fast ship. You're gonna hit it. I'm gonna try not to. Try my best. And we do have a few phaser array. Big classic. Okay, tell me this. What's your favorite kind of phaser array? I would know. Like, do you like the big beams, or do you like the pulsars? Because there's definitely conflicting opinions on what you have. Now, the Zhenghe is, I think it's got a hybrid. I think it's got some beams, and I think it has also got some pulsars. But, oh gosh, no, don't hit the nacelle. Chief Engineer will never hear the last of it because he's the one that's going to have to refit it. Let's get some distance. All right, let's get out of here before everyone starts showering me more. It's a nice looking ship. It's a nice looking ship, I think. Gosh, oh, I'm not too good on the lateral movement. But it's nice. I like the Zhenghe class ships. I think they're departing in about 3 or 4 days. So if you are watching this from the Zhenghe, please help yourself and enjoy the rest of the Starbase 47 amenities. I'm not going to warp into the planet. I'm going to hit the ship. More like, please enjoy the rest of the amenities. There's lots of things to do on the station. So while you're here for R&R, yeah, beams are good. Beams are good. Beams are more consistent but more energy draining. I think the pulsars are, well, for, you know, Walt can probably tell you about, or Mr. JG Kiernan can tell you about. Phasers and EPS load is definitely something that has to be considered. Do you prefer a constant load, or do you need a pulsing load going through your systems, or are they just going to blow? More fond of torpedoes. Well, if you want something to go bang, that's what you do it with. Okay, let's hop back onto the station. Ready? And transport effects have changed a lot. Beams on a ship like this make no sense. Its maneuverability makes it ideal for pulsars and cannons. That's very true. I think this is why it's a hybrid. I think it's and since the refit, since the refit, they've definitely changed them more to a sort of multi-mission cruiser as opposed to a warship, because I think Starfleet's changed a little bit since the Copalis incident, and kind of, well, after the recent Borg incident, it's definitely kind of wanting to explore a bit more. I think we've had too many years since the Dominion War of kind of sitting on our back feet and trying to recover. I think we want to be able to push and get out there, hence the Enterprise G launch, try and boldly go once again, which is fine. This is where stations like Starbase 47 come in very useful for boldly going. There we are. Okay, before, we've got a few things to do before we wrap up tonight. So I did have my first submission. The Admiral is an astute poet. God bless him. God bless you, Admiral. I'm glad you have other hobbies than making my life miserable. He knows this is a joke. Well, I hope he knows this is a joke. I can never tell with the Vulcan. I'm going to call this Vulcan Poetry Corner. Oh, Chief Engineer has a regular presentation on phaser technology. His long one takes 12 hours, but the short one is a breeze at 10.5. Yeah, so you've been caught in the Chief Engineer's long lectures as well. Yeah, he gave me my tour on the station when I first arrived. Oh my lord. Like, mate, you are an accomplished engineer, but just talk less. Like, you could say things like in 2 words that he says in 15. Anyway, we're going to start with a little bit of Vulcan poetry. So this is the Admiral Tyrrell. Admiral Tyrrell, his name escaped me for some reason, apologies. Admiral Tyrrell, a little bit of Vulcan poetry that he asked me to read out to everyone that was listening. Hopefully you still are. He didn't give this a title, and it simply reads: In realms of logic, where serenity prevails, a tale of 2 worlds and their destined trails. Vulcans and Romulans divided by time, yet intertwined by destiny sublime. A Vulcan's mind, a river so calm, in reason and wisdom like a healing balm. Romulus' fiery heart in tumultuous flight, a tempest of passions shining so bright. Separation enforced by history's hand, fractured brethren across vast expanse of land. Yet whispers of unity echo through the stars, a dream of peace where rifts may unbar. In meditation's solace, Vulcans seek to find paths of logic entwined with hearts aligned. For peace lies not solely in dispassionate thought, but in understanding the lesson time has taught. As shadows recede, ancient grudges abate, the yearning for togetherness they contemplate. Vulcan's teaching of logic, a bridge they should build to reunite minds, hearts, and souls unfulfilled. Through melding of minds, a bridge we shall tread, a fusion of essence where emotions are wed. For Vulcans and Romulus share a common root, from Sirak's teachings a foundation to reboot. In unity lies strength, in harmony our might, a future's transcending past sorrowful blight. With logic as a compass and empathy embraced, Vulcan and Romulan forever embraced. And so the Vulcan's vision extends its reach, extolling the virtues of unity's breach. For in the fusion of minds and hearts intertwined, new horizons shall emerge and destiny redefined. Let the phoenix of hope rise with feathers unfurled, as Vulcan and Romulus embark a new world. A poem of potential, where differences cease, united we stand in everlasting peace. And apologise for the Admiral for adding emotional inflection. He did ask me to just keep that nice and, unemotional, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very good. So congratulations, sir. You've done something very wonderful there about potential of unification, which brings me on to unification itself. Unification between Vulcan and Romulus is an interesting topic, and I wonder if there is some merit to this. The idea sprung from Ambassador Spock, who sadly is no longer with us. Well, at least when we can find him, he is missing in action. He is... he's sadly gone. But no, the idea of Vulcan and Romulan reunification came during about 2367 or 69, maybe 70, somewhere like that, when there was the Enterprise went into Romulan space, or the Captain Picard from the Enterprise went to Romulan space to talk about such a subject. But there has definitely been more activism about the subject, and because those that don't know, the Vulcans and the Romulans do have a shared past. They were there at the dawn on Vulcan. There was one race of beings, warlike racings. Which Enterprise was that? That would be the Enterprise D. No, not the B. Not with Picard. No. The E I could understand, but no, it was the D. Where are we? Yeah, so, yes, no, there was... there were one violent race. Sirak came along and said, no, we need to unite behind logic and... become one people, to which another faction, which became the Romulans, didn't like that, shot off into space, found Romulus, and forged their own path. But there has definitely been some talk about reuniting them together, which is an interesting concept considering the state of Romulus at the moment. It's definitely, with the supernova basically destroying a lot of Romulan space and a lot of Romulans being refugees, there is definitely more appeal for them to be embraced within the Federation culture, although there are hardliners that definitely do not want that at all. Vulcan is a part of the Federation, that is unavoidable. There's definitely no secession there. If the Vulcans and the Romulans went their own way together as one species, possibly could happen, but I think there is a lot of water to tread there, and a lot of things to do before that'll happen. Final part of the night, final part of today's show. Thank you for watching. We're gonna have our call-ins and our letters. So thank you everyone for submitting their letters this week. This one is from Ensign Chavez. Hello Starbase 47. I've got a peculiar situation here on Starbase. You see, my replicator seems to have developed a taste for Klingon cuisine. No matter what I request, it keeps on serving gach and blood wine. How can I reset it back to its default setting? That's probably had something to do with the Klingon delegation here. They're, living their culture. I think one of them may have been a bit cheeky and poked into our replication circuits to get what they're served, and their replicator spread to every single one of them. So best job is maybe talk to engineering, maybe have a chat with Walt. He might be able to sort you out and get it back. However, if you do feel like trying some Klingon cuisine, try the roquette blood pie. Have a raktajino, especially first thing in the morning. Ooh, badoo. Absolutely. That will definitely pick you up in the morning. This next one is from Cadet Portia from the USS Bateson. Greetings. I've recently been assigned to a starship and I'm having trouble adjusting to life in space. I find myself constantly disorientated and experiencing severe space sickness. Do you have any tips or remedies for combating this interstellar motion sickness? Definitely something that grows with you after time. If you've definitely been planetfall a lot of your life and you suddenly experience the vastness of space for the first time, you feel like, oh no, I'm trapped on this small metal box traveling God knows how fast through the vastness of space, it can be very disorientating, can be debilitating. Have a chat with your chief medical officer and your medical staff. There might be something to get for it. Or the best, if you have a holodeck on your ship, go in there and just touch grass for a bit, get a bit of familiar land. And at all times, always said to people, or people's regular advice, if you're in an unfamiliar situation within a galactic environment, is focus on your feet, look at your feet, focus on the horizon that you have, and just keep you up there. Don't look around, just concentrate on where you are, and hopefully that will help. But if not, then drugs. Why not? This one's from Lieutenant Commander Maxwell Stevenson. Good day, I'm newly commissioned officer on the Starbase. Hey, welcome. Yes, I do remember your roster. I'm having difficulty earning the respect of my crewmates. They seem to ignore my orders and often question my decisions. How can I establish myself as an effective leader and gain their trust? That is a complicated question, and one that takes time. It's essentially you're becoming a manager, and you have to have enough of authority to be able to. I'm guessing that some of these people you're now commanding are your friends. I've definitely had that situation where I've been promoted over everyone else, and I've had to sort of give orders, and it feels bad, but you've got to do it. And I think they will respect you more if you're more assertive and tell them, no, you're doing this, or I'm writing it up. It might cost you your friendship, but that's on them, not you, for not respecting your position. You might find they're maybe not the friends you thought they were. So, where am I reading this from? I'm reading from my incoming mails. Absolutely. So yeah, definitely work on being a bit more assertive, trying to get your community. And if you are having trouble, have a chat with your first officer, your XO, because generally they'll have a bit of advice, and if you need them to put the foot down, it's a little bit debilitating. You don't want to sort of run off to tell on them, but you may need them, or they may need a reminder that no, you're in charge. So and for procedure on Starship is definitely what you need. Okay, where are we? Ahoy there! I'm currently serving on the USS Rembrandt, and we've encountered a temporal anomaly that's causing us to jump back and forth through different areas of Federation history. How can we stabilize our timeline and prevent these unexpected time jumps from happening? This is from Cadet LMA from the USS Bateson. That's a topical name. There was one time I was we had a little bit of a time distortion on the ship, and that was making different sections of the ship out of sync of time with each other. So I'd walk in one room on a Monday, and turns out on the next room it was Tuesday. It got very disorientating when I walked into what I thought was the mess hall. Everything was dark, and then I walk onto the bridge, and suddenly the bridge there's a bar on the bridge. Time distortions get weird. The best thing to do is find the source. If you're a cadet, obviously everyone else in the ship is having the same situation, so what you've written out to me is a bit weird, and hopefully you resolved it. Find the source of the time distortion. Maybe go from somewhere where it's all maybe concentrated, where everything's getting a bit more wibbly wobbly than other areas. Kind of head for there, have a look. Kind of hoping you're okay. I might have to investigate this afterwards. Next write-in. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of the USS James Paget, and I've noticed that our medical tricorders are frequently providing inaccurate readings. Is there any way to calibrate or troubleshoot those devices to ensure the utmost precision in diagnosing our patients? There is a section terminal of the Starship. Sorry, there is a code in the Starship. Brain is failing me tonight. There is a code of a requisition code in the Starfleet technical manual for upgrading and maintaining tricorders. Check every part of the calibration on there. I'm talking about general tricorders. Medical tricorders may be a bit different, but my advice when I was a cadet, when I was an engineering cadet myself, was definitely make sure your tricorder is well calibrated, and yeah, go from there. At worst, definitely talk to your chief engineer, get a new tricorder, one with the purple stripe, very good if you can. Lieutenant Stickler from the USS Stones. I'm part of a diplomatic delegation visiting a newly discovered alien species, although he hasn't said what it is. Unfortunately, they communicate through complex systems of telepathy, and I can't seem to establish mental connection with them. How can I bridge this communication gap and ensure successful negotiation? I'm going to assume you are partly telepathic yourself. Helps why you make that. Maybe that's the wrong approach. In times, look up some historical archives of the Temerians and of what was it, the Excuse me 1 second, I'm just going to have to activate the database. Yes, the Rhamatisian Reaver, who was the classic example. He couldn't speak, so he had a telepathic course with him to tell everyone what he was thinking. Unfortunately, during a tense negotiation, they died. He had nothing but his sign language to communicate with us. So what did he do? He didn't give up. He had these two sides of this conflict who would not talk to each other. So what he did is he sat down on the planet with them and he taught them both his sign language. So they had a common form of tongue. So what you have to do is find a common relation that maybe isn't telepathy. I don't think if telepathy isn't gone through, maybe think outside the box. Find some other way of bridging the gap between your culture and theirs. And I think once you find that little Rosetta Stone, that little link, then you'll be halfway there. You really will. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm currently serving on the USS Rembrandt, and we've encountered a temporal anomaly that's causing us to jump back and forth. How can we stabilize our timeline? Ensign, LMA, USS Bateson. Did your communication get stuck in the time vortex? I think it... Wait a minute, hang on. Weren't you a cadet? Okay, anyway. Greetings, good sir. I find myself in the most unusual predicament. Whenever I enter the holodeck, I end up being pursued by aggressive holodeck characters who won't leave me alone. How can I safely exit the holodeck without enduring a perilous adventure every time? Martha Sampson, Quarks Bar, Terra Nova. There a bit of Quarks on Terra Nova? Oh my god, that's a weird one. What a weird place for a core. He will go anywhere. So holodecks, you need to check for tampering and also check the history logs, because generally people who have had it previously tend not to clear the cache or clear what the previous program was before you go back on. So if you're currently using it after someone, check it. Have your holodeck maintained. Talk to a local engineer if you're planet side. Maybe try and find your nearest Starfleet representative who will have an engineer that can probably help maintain it. It could be stuck with the safety protocols off, which is a huge no. Don't do that. Yeah, so definitely reach out. Let's have a look. What about Commander Sharky? We've encountered a mysterious energy drain that's affecting our warp engines. We've checked all the usual suspects, but nothing seems to be causing it. How to track down and source the energy drain? Why are you asking me? Why are you asking me like a week after you sent the... People don't understand how this works. Guaranteed you will have fixed that by now, or your ship has gone kaboom. I should check the reports of the USS. Yeah, really did. Final one. Halfway there. I'm currently serving on the USS Rembrandt, and we've encountered a temporal anomaly that's causing us to jump back and forth between different areas of Federation history. How can I stabilize our timeline and prevent the unexpected time jumps from happening? Captain Portia of the USS Bateson. Okay. After this, I'm going to submit a report to Starfleet Command and say what's happened to the USS the Rembrandt or the Basin. They seem to get confused between which starship they're on. I think they're having a bit more than a temporal calamity. Oh dear. We need to send something out there. But yes, okay, that very nicely brings us to the end of the show. So thank you for supporting the broadcast. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll be doing another one next time I get the right shift to allow it to do, but I believe the Admiral is very keen for these to continue. Let me know what you think on our Discord, which you can go to here. I'll pop it in the communications. So pop along there, and you can come and join in with the fun. If you want a posting, we have a posting recruitment section there. If you have any questions you want to ask, please go there. Join the fun. We'll be back very soon with another episode of Starbase 47. Now here's a fun one. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of archival footage of someone that looks extraordinarily like a certain captain we've been talking about tonight. Live long and prosper, everybody. Goodbye.
It's all set.
What's all set?
I got Hooker lined up with a dude who's going to give him the deal of a lifetime in a new Porsche.
A Porsche?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you should wait. You might get a better deal through the state.
Yeah?
Yeah, we just did some story on a guy who's selling stolen Porsches off a lot on Main. Real sleazy character.
What's his name?
Delvin, Kelvin,
Melvin?